What a great day. What a great day. And nice to see everybody. Good to be back. My name is Dean, and we have a full show for everybody today. We're going overseas to Ukraine. We're going to talk about chicken and waffle pizza. We got a couple of other things to deal with today, but welcome to the program because we're excited. So that means you need to be excited. Joining me, as always, is my friend Lachlan Cross, morning show host, 957 Cruise FM at
Slava Ukraine.
Slava Ukraine is right, because not only are we joined by Lachlan Cross, and there's no better time to get to this man than right now. Please welcome back to the program, live from Kyiv, Ukraine, suburb just outside of Kyiv, Ukraine, Irpin, 6'1", 220, solid as a rock. Please welcome Alex Dayrabekove, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, my friends.
Hey, buddy, how you doing? Da 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 da. You're back. Nice to see you. How are you?
Yeah, so good to be back. So long time.
Yeah,
so many things happened.
No shit. I think the last time we talked to you, Yevgeny Prigozhin was still a human being and not in the dirt. I'm pretty sure. I think Putin,
I gotta get stats on that.
There's like 20 other guys that have fallen out of windows in the past weeks. We've got like a counteroffensive to get to. They're blowing up doomsday planes. We've got a massive attack in Crimea that just shook the fucking world, Alex. Where do you want to start? Because I am all about my friends in Ukraine today, dude. About it.
Oh yeah, guys. This is such an incredible time. I myself sometimes feel like I'm losing the the speed of what is going on. Sometimes it's like, okay, when was this happening? Was it like yesterday or a week ago? It's like so many events, good events, well, also bad events, but more and more good news coming from Ukraine.
Yeah, it doesn't stop, right? Like over the past week, again, we talked about Yevgeny Prigozhin's crash. We've got some news out of Belarus as well. You've got some F-16 and ATCMS missile systems. We got some news there. Can we start with the big explosion in Sevastopol before we do anything else?
Looked like you expected it, and you invited me over today.
Yeah.
Did you know anything? Are you involved?
No, I'm not involved. Although I wish I was. Like if someone said, "Hey, Dean, you want to be involved in bombing something Russian?" I'd be like, "Fucking all over it. Let's go do it. Let me press the button. Do you need me to load the canister? I'll do whatever it takes." But what happened in Crimea today? Kind of take us through it, and because your tweet made me laugh this morning. I'm just going to bring it up here. What wonderful news today! Ukraine hit the headquarters of the Russian Black Sea Fleet headquarters in occupied Sevastopol. Huge blow into the aggressor's ugly face, which I fucking loved. But what happened today, Alex? Kind of take us through it if you can.
Well, they're just in the middle of the day, the Storm Shadows, British long-range missiles got through the air defense. And I think there were at least 8 of them. Some of them, of course, were downed, but at least 2 of them reached the headquarters of the Black Sea Fleet, which is the major military force in the occupied Crimea, and that's the center of their operations. And apparently, there was a meeting of the highest command at that precise moment, and the rocket heat got through all the floors right into the basement of the building.
This is that is the headquarters, like that building that we were just looking at. Alex Dayrabekove at Dayrabekove joins us. Follow him on Twitter, anywhere on Facebook as well. That is the headquarters of the entire Black Sea Fleet now, which has been under attack for quite some time because, if I'm not mistaken, Russia's been trying to move boats and submarines all around the area, and you guys just keep pounding the shit out of them. Like you took out a submarine couple last week, and you took out a frigate and a destroyer last week at the exact same time. And so you've just gone to the source. Is that what I understand? Like this is the headquarters, and the guy who was in charge of the headquarters was actually in the building, and he got murdered at the exact same time, if I'm not mistaken. But that's what this is. This is the HQ in occupied Crimea, not Crimea, occupied Crimea. And so what you did, instead of just taking out the boats, you're like, fuck it. Let's take out HQ, right?
Yeah. That's a major blow, and that's such an important part of the counteroffensive and in general. And there's rumors that the head of the entire Black Sea Fleet has been murdered, but it's not confirmed yet. We'll hope tomorrow it will be confirmed. But there were lots of officers there, and we will probably never know the exact number of those who were killed in action. But
hopefully, most of them. Hopefully, that's the answer.
Yeah.
Locke, have you seen the video of this, by the way?
I did. I saw it actually just before I jumped on. It is.
Can I play it before you get to your question? I know you got a Black Sea question, but I got to play this video. Like, this is in occupied Crimea, right? Russian headquarters. You can't get us. You can't get us. Ha, ha, ha. Well, as Borat said, they got them, right? And this is the second missile that went.
Said that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, with his brother, Bilo. Remember when he was like trying to make fun of his sister? You can't get it. And then Bilo got it. Remember that? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Here's the
Oh! That's crazy. Isn't that insane? The people are just walking around.
Yes. Yeah, let's watch it one more time. These people are like, oh, the headquarters for the Black Sea Fleet, Russia's Black Sea Fleet, is on fire. And all of a sudden you hear, and then you see it. If you watch real close, you can see the actual missile, and it is fucking heavy.
Wow.
And note that the rocket hit while it was already on fire. So it's the second, or at least the second rocket that hit the base.
So where are those coming from, Alex? Are they coming from airplanes? Are they coming from because those are storm shadows? Or
they probably don't really want anybody talking about that, because I don't think the world knows we have them.
Oh, you mean yeah, of course. But the funniest thing is that they actually said that all of the rockets were downed, and then they said, okay, one actually reached the Black Sea Fleet headquarters, and then later this video was spread over internet. Like, okay, it was not the only one that reached.
Yeah. So my question, Alex, about that's incredible video. My question about it's more of a geography question, because and again, I don't understand the implications of the specific battles, right? But I think it's worth pointing out that the Black Sea is kind of it's the way the Ukraine, the breadbasket of the world, gets everything out of the Ukraine to the rest of the world. And so the focus for Ukraine in this battle with Russia in this spring offensive has been to try to get control of those waters back in order to actually supply the world with the wheat and grain and whatnot that your country is so plentiful with, and that has been a focus. And listen, I know that the spring offensive hasn't been as fruitful as we've wanted it to, but they are making a little bit of headway, especially in Crimea. And so this is an indication that we might be getting a little bit of that access to the Black Sea back. Is that fair to say, or is it too optimistic to assume that what's happening right now today and in the last couple of weeks is going to benefit in that regard?
Well, I'm impressed with your knowledge. That's
I got to tell you, I'm surprised he didn't stroke out right after saying that, because I'm very impressed too. That was very intellectual.
It was a little old school moment there, right?
Yeah, that's good.
What happened? Where am I?
That's exactly what it is all about. We are cleaning up the Black Sea Fleet. We are like pushing away the ships from the from Crimea to the east of the Black Sea to to the Russian territory, cleaning up the way for our ships to pass through and bring the grain to the world.
So I think
that's the purpose behind the
Yeah.
what we saw today. Which, by the way, sorry, I just have to play it one more time.
But I think it's important. I think it's important to send that message, right? I mean, I understand that we're having a conversation right now, especially with the division revolving around the Ukraine war, right? And it's bizarre to me. It's absolutely, I'm just flabbergasted almost on a daily.
Dude, that's all it is. Like I don't want to go down the disinformation highway right now, but like the division exists because Russia and China are like, it's okay. It's just a fun war, and you're like, no, you're a fucking bunch of genocidal maniacs, is what you are.
Yeah. But I think it's important to point out the fact that the battle for us, not for Ukraine, the battle for us, and the reason why the stakes are so high for your success for the rest of the world is because of things like them blocking the Black Sea. And I mean, the cost of food around the world has been impacted. The energy, the cost of energy has been impacted by this war. And you know what? It's more than just getting Ukraine, weapons and ammunition and humanitarian support in order to fight this war. There's an impact on the global economy that I don't think we talk enough about. Which I was glad that Zelensky, in the last couple of months when I've seen him speak, and he's on a tour right now in North America.
Yeah, Alex. Dude, he's in Canada today, by the way. Zelensky's in Canada. He gave a wonderful little speech.
He just finished up, but he has shifted gears a little bit, Alex, in that he has been saying things like, like this war is more. It's more involved than you think, right? I mean, we're not just
about
fighting.
You too. Yeah.
We're fighting against disinformation. We're fighting against the rise of the global.
We're fighting to feed the world. Like that's kind of what we're seeing in Crimea, if I'm not mistaken. Alex, to Lachlan's incredibly intellectual point, is that you're very welcome, buddy.
That's the first time this year he's said something like that, Alex.
But is that not part and parcel of what we're seeing here, Alex? Is Ukraine is putting the rest of the world's ability to eat on its shoulders with these strikes as well?
Yeah, exactly. The Black Sea transportation route is the fastest, the most efficient route of transporting it. There are other routes, but they are like slower and longer and more costly. So we are cleaning it up, and we freed up. There were oil towers that were occupied. We deoccupied them. We captured them, and they kept the air defense on them. So we are getting a hold of those places. We destroyed several air defense systems on Crimea within the past several weeks. So it's just like step-by-step process of cleaning that up for the grain, but just for full of fairness. It's not only about the grain. It's one of the important parts. The other part that I actually didn't know much about it, but just learned that the eastern part of the Black Sea is the most important route for the Russians to transport their oil by the sea. 50% of oil transported or exported from Russia goes there. So when we take control of that, we will cut down that route for them.
And that's going to be more impactful than sanctions, right? If you can shut off because that's not going to change. Countries are still going to buy Russian oil. But if you can shut off the taps, that's a huge point. I didn't know that at all, Alex. That's amazing.
Yeah, so they will have less resources to finance the war. Basically, and of course many other things. Crimea is our land. That's it. Those officers who are there, they are occupiers, they are aggressors. They just need to go back to their families and say, "Oh fuck, we were bombed. We got to get our belongings and get out of there." And they should.
Well, fuck yeah. I mean, and Zelensky said that the other day in a minute. I think it was like 60 Minutes interview. They're like, "Is there anything you can give Russia that would help this up?" He goes, "No, it's fucking ours." Like, no, it's ours. We're going to stop this aggression once and for all. We're going to take all of our shit back. Speaking of which, ours.
I love that.
How are you getting? Because you had like limitations when it came to getting some bombs perfectly placed in the asshole of the Black Sea Fleet HQ master's house, right? Like it took a while. Where are those coming from in terms, because are they on previously occupied land because the counteroffensive was able to push in enough into the eastern parts of Ukraine to make that possible? Or is this just, hey, we're not asking, we're not telling, don't worry about it, and there's more help coming? Like is that like what has had to happen for this to actually be a possibility?
Oh, that's a difficult question. Well,
you don't have to answer it if it's too
well.
hard.
Counteroffensive didn't help us to take that many lands in this regard, but those were just the planes that was the air to ground attacks by those storm shadows.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So those came from airplanes, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I like his trepidation here, because I think what's happened is I think a lot of the conversations
He's doing one of these. Dean, shut the fuck up. I'm not telling you anything. I know where everything is and I'm not saying a word.
I think a lot of the conversations about what we're supplying Ukraine to fight this battle for the rest of the world, by the way, worth pointing out. Yeah. I think a lot of these conversations are happening behind closed doors. And I think there's a certain amount of, listen, we're gonna give you this, but can you try to keep it under wraps as long as you possibly can? I'm 100% okay with that. And I'm glad we're seeing. I'm glad that Zelensky is now showing, like without saying it, he's kind of like showing his dick. Is that a good analogy? He's like, listen, this is what we got now. And you know what? Deal with it. Chew on this. And because I think a lot of what's happened in the last couple of weeks specifically is the result of training catching. Ukraine is catching up to the training. Weapons that you guys, but everyone said we weren't going to give you, you're getting anyway.
You've been training on them for the past year and a half, and it's all like, hey, here it comes now.
Yeah, and here you go, right there, Putin. Bend over.
Is that accurate, Alex?
Yeah. The only limitation that we are getting is not to use it on the Russian territory. Crimea is not a Russian territory, so we can use whatever Storm Shadows, ATACMS, F-16s in the future. Mm-hmm. We will be using them in Crimea. It's our territory. Mm-hmm. But on the Russian territory, and you probably heard on the news that there have been lots of things that happened in Russia, close to Moscow, even further than Moscow. That was all Ukrainian drones, specifically Ukrainian, nothing Western.
So take me through this one, right? Because this is, you're laughing already. You told me about this morning. I'm like, I haven't heard about this sabotage of a couple of airplanes in Moscow, courtesy of the Ukrainian Defense Intelligence, that blew up some fucking really important pieces of equipment. What do you know about this? And when did this happen, Alex?
Actually, that was the Ukrainian intelligence that publicly confirmed this. And that's how it got into the news, that some unknown saboteurs got into this highly secret base with high security, because that's the doomsday fleet of Putin. And they got somehow there, and they put a bomb or whatever, and they blew up 2 airplanes, transport airplanes, and 1 helicopter. I mean, that's really amazing. How in the world? I'm sure there will be some books and documentaries and movies about that in the future.
Well, and we don't know where. Yeah, this was published by Ukrainian intelligence, but I mean, like what is going on in Russia? Is it Ukraine? Because you see all these Ukrainian drones that they're flying into things deep into the heart of Moscow. You see Ukrainian drones going into different areas, and you hear the stories. You see the oil refineries up in smoke. You see the barracks that are getting taken out by drones. And I mean, I love the trench videos where the drone lands in the trench video and everybody looks at it and then the fucking thing blows up. But like what you're talking about is like inside Russia, there are Russians and saboteurs who are like pro-Ukraine at this point, and it's like systemic. It's happening everywhere, is it not?
Well, we don't know the truth, but at least what the intelligence, Ukrainian intelligence, is trying to announce. Yeah, that there are different ways of doing it. There could be Ukrainian saboteurs. There could be Russians who are fighting for Ukraine or with Ukraine. And there are just Russians, volunteers who are gathering in Russia, and in cooperation with the Ukrainian intelligence, they are performing such things. Most of the drones that hit some positions in Russia were actually sent from the Russian territory, not from Ukraine.
Can I ask you a question about Zelensky and his leadership and the support he's getting from the Ukraine people? I had a moment this morning when I was watching our leader speak, and a couple of things have happened in the last little while where I've questioned, and I'm trying to establish, because I can't stand our prime minister. I just, when he speaks, I just like, oh, shut up. So I'm trying to remove that hatred for the man when I'm making any sort of like when I'm watching him speak, or when I'm seeing him involved in anything politically, and I'm wondering about his impact on certain situations. For instance, this, I don't know if you heard, but India sent somebody to execute a Canadian citizen because of philosophical differences on Canadian soil. And we have enough proof that our leader, Justin Trudeau, said that it was India. And so there's this sort of battle. And I'm concerned about his ability to negotiate those waters because, well, one, because I think when he walks into a room and he starts speaking, that even leaders around the world go, please stop talking. But what I get when I see Zelensky speak is I get the sense that a lot of the success that your country has had in getting the rest of the world on board is the strength of his leadership. Is that an overall consensus in Ukraine? Or no? It isn't. Wow. Okay.
Really? Because he's like a hero over here.
Yeah.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Well, he became a president 4 years ago in 2019. 75%, so 73% voted for him. 73% voted for him. I'm sure that most of those 73 are still supporting him. The other 25% were like really against him, and they are still against him, even though he's really a hero. He, just like you're saying, and they hate him just like you hate Trudeau.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
That's really interesting.
Do you guys like Trudeau over there? You guys are big fans?
Yeah. Here, from our perspective, he's good. He's if you compare Trudeau to our previous presidents, he's really like a star.
Is he? Like he's got a good reputation over there?
He is helping where we can. I mean, we're not the type of world power.
Keep in mind, we don't have a lot of shit to send over. Like we have a dinghy to help in the Black Sea. We've got a small life raft we can help with. We've got a couple of like squirt guns we could get in there. Now we have like some stuff, but like that's been the beautiful part of watching this, is watching the free world rally behind what you're doing. But to your point, and I think Alex made mention of it, and Locke, you tied into it a while ago. I think Canadians in this government realize that that what you said is accurate, is that Ukraine isn't just fighting to get their territorial and ancestral land back. They're not just fighting for their freedom. They're not just fighting for free and democratic elections. They're not just fighting to have what is theirs. They're doing this on behalf of the rest of the world because of the encroachment of the ideology and the people that are and what's at stake, whether it's disinformation, whether it's fascism, whatever the situation is, right? Like, we see that value there. On top of it, it's amazing what it has done for relations for Canada and Ukraine. Like, having you on, like, I feel like you're our brother. I feel like you're from Canada, the Europe of Canada. I really do. Or the Canada of Europe. I feel like that is Ukraine. And I feel like, that we have very similar industry. We have very similar culture. We have very, very similar hardworking, with our hands. Yeah, we have the same things going on. And so, it's fascinating to me that Canada, Ukraine, sort of the compatibility. Like, we all know the United States is a superpower, and you're like, hey, we just need to be friends with those guys. But the Canada-Ukraine relations seem to be very different than that. Am I mistaken?
Take
Alex,
the leaders out of it. It's different. It's different.
How do you look at it now?
Exactly. Well, Canada has probably the largest Ukrainian diaspora in the world. So, like, and we also feel this ties. Lots of Ukrainians left for Canada a long time ago, and we have lots. I have lots of friends who have relatives there in Canada. My friends went to Canada after the war started. Actually, we stayed in their apartment. So that was like, we do have lots of connections and good feelings towards Canada.
1.4 million Ukrainians in Canada have direct ties to Ukraine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I heard that number today, and I was kind of blown away by that. Yeah, that's huge.
37 million people in this country, 1.4 million Ukrainian direct descendants that have direct ties back to Ukraine.
Yeah, so
currently,
that's huge.
Today,
That's massive.
It's massive.
3%? Wow. 3%.
Yeah.
I'm not good at math. I'm sure. Yeah, 3%.
You know what's
great.
Interesting for me with this relationship too, and I can take it to a personal level with you, Alex, is like, and Dean said it off the top. We feel like we're brothers. We look forward to these podcasts with you to catch up and make sure you're safe. And the other thing, I appreciate this relationship from a grounding perspective, because I think we all need a little bit of this in our lives, especially in Canada. The other day, I legitimately was folding laundry in the loft here, watching TV, and I realized that I was out of beer in my beer fridge. And I was annoyed that I had to walk all the way downstairs, Alex, to get a cold beer.
Don't you love how he tries to relate his terrible life back to yours in war-torn?
It's like, this is the third floor. And I was just, I was already annoyed. I'm doing laundry, which I'm not a big fan of, Alex. I don't know if you do the laundry in the house, but I do the bulk of the laundry. And I was pissed off about that. And then I didn't have cold beer up here. So to walk all the way downstairs. And then I get a text from Dean going, Alex is on the show tomorrow. Can you do 2:00 your time? And I'm like, I am such a dick. I'm angry that I had to walk 2 floors down, 2 flights of stairs to get a fucking beer. And then I get to talk to Alex, who's got bombs flying over his head.
I know how it feels.
Well,
your relationship is grounding for me.
I know how you feel, Locke. I also hate doing that while I'm dodging missiles. Okay, so let's get to a couple other housekeeping items. New equipment coming into Ukraine.
Planes. You need planes.
You got planes and missile systems. Tell us about what you're hearing. What's going on in Ukraine? And
well, finally we are gonna get the planes. And I didn't know this, but we all are becoming kind of military experts. Once we get enough airplanes, and enough is not a lot, but enough is enough for a counteroffensive. For us, enough is only 150. even less than that, but 150 is really enough. 150 F-16s will make a big difference.
Yeah.
With that, we will be able to take 70% of efforts of the counteroffensive on the airplanes backs. So we will start losing less people, because now the counteroffensive is basically the guys who are going on the minefields and basically dying there.
Yeah.
And those will be the airplanes that will be doing most of the work, which is gonna and it will speed up like 10 times the entire operation. And we will really basically need months, I don't know, 6, 5, 10 months to sweep up our land, and it will go really quickly. So we are all expecting to get the F-16s.
And when's that timeline, Alex,
Well,
for the F-16s and ATACMS?
There's talks about beginning of next year. The earliest is December. That's what I heard. But if we hear December, I hope that in fact they will appear here earlier.
Little Christmas gift of a couple of bombs up fascist asses. Yeah, I'd like that.
One of the things about the battle, right, the front lines is that, I mean, both sides are very much entrenched right now, right? Like the movement is, inches in a day, one way or the other, back and forth. And I think you're right. I think if you guys were able to, if Ukraine was able to get into the air and loosen up some of the front lines, I think it would go a long way. And the thing, I was watching an interview, this is a couple of weeks ago, where we had a Canadian journalist, and he was chatting with somebody, just outside of the front lines, and it was a Ukraine soldier, and I had a moment there where I realized, my God, if you get those people in the air, they're going to be deadly. I mean, Ukraine soldiers are just, every time I see you guys on screen, like on our in interviews, I'm just like,
you see the Hawaiian shirt video? You see the Hawaiian shirt video? Alex sent it to me like a month ago. Is these Ukraine soldiers in Hawaiian shirts, right? And they're on their way to go kick some ass, like literally on their way to go kick some ass. And they're all dancing in Hawaiian shirts in the car, listening to music. And I'm like, this is not normal. Like, most people in that situation would like have a big turd in their pants and not, be praying to whatever God of their understanding. These guys are bebopping around in fucking Hawaiian shirts.
That's our morale. Yeah.
Are you gonna play the video?
To it, I'm gonna get the video out for you right now. I just had to unload it, but it's literally like this is what Russians don't understand. On the other side of the field, you've got Russians literally running around in their underwear, in their pajamas, right? Scared to death because they got nothing. And in Ukraine, they're driving around because it's their homeland, right? They're like, yeah, we get it.
Just the wrong people to mess with. I mean, just the wrong people. This was a huge mistake on Russia's part. You pissed off. It's like going and kicking a hornet's nest. Right? Like, what are you doing? Like, it's just so dumb.
Well, it's not like history didn't teach him about it the last 4 times they tried this or 5 times they tried this. Here's the video. Look at this.
Like, look at these guys. Look at these guys. Oh my God.
They're on their way to go kill people.
That is unbelievable.
That's the morale.
They're laughing and they're smiling, and it's a night at the Roxbury in an SUV on their way to go take out some Russians. Like, that is, you can't fight that.
Oh yeah,
you can't fight that if you're wearing your pajamas and you just got sent in from like the far reaches of Siberia, and they're like, don't worry about it, here's a toothbrush, go out there and fight. And you're like, what the fuck, are you serious? How do you fight that? You can't. Alex, how do you fight that?
But the morales are very high, and that's on the other hand, on the aggressor's side, I hear more and more such horrible fuck ups of like one of the recent ones was that there was a Russian position that was attacked by Ukrainians. So those Russians somehow passed the coordinates somewhere back to the artillery, and the artillery started hitting not the Ukrainians, but their own positions.
Oh wow!
And there's basically a record. It's circulating on the internet that they are actually calling them and saying, "Fuck! What are you doing? You are hitting us! Stop doing that!" And they couldn't stop because there was some problem with the communication or whatever. So for 2 hours they were hitting their own positions. They basically killed everyone there. Can you imagine that?
shit.
Is there you know how there's a ticker for like, you know, tanks that Russia's lost that you guys have pinched, or like, you know, the radar systems and the infantry troops? Like there's this legend that goes up every day. It's like, add 1,140 Russian soldiers to the dead list. Like it's up to 320,000 or something like that. Is there a ticker for how many times Russia fucked up and killed their own people? Because that number's got to be huge too.
Oh
right?
yeah, would be great. I don't know, but that should be great. Like friendly fire.
Yeah, like Prigozhin's plane was friendly fire. I don't even think we've talked about that. What's the mood? What was the mood like in Ukraine after finding out that Prigozhin's plane got shot down by his own people? Like, where's that at? Or is he dead, or is he alive? Where are you guys at?
Well, of course, it was hard to believe, but it was so logical that it was 23rd of August, exactly 2 months after his coup that he started on July 23rd.
Yeah,
he was flying in the plane from St. Petersburg to Moscow. And by the way, it was in between those two cities where Putler's residence is, and it was down, like it was hit I think 20 miles away from Putler's residence.
Can I ask you about a rumor I heard, Alex, about Prigozhin?
Yeah,
I heard that the plane went up in the air, and that family members from people on the plane were getting calls from Russian officials informing them that their relatives were dead before it was shot down.
Really?
Have you heard that, or is that just an internet thing?
I heard a joke of this kind that
maybe
what is
something
joke?
about something about the time difference that Putler is calling family members of Prigozhin, saying that he's dead, and they're saying, "Oh, he hasn't. The plane hasn't started yet." You know. But
maybe that joke turned into something, because it's such a possibility that joke was actually believed in. Somebody brought it up to me at we were out having beers barbecue thing, and somebody said, I heard that Putin was calling family members from people on that plane.
So weird how
they were dead before the plane.
A buddy of yours it's so weird how a buddy of yours in Alberta has some disinformation he passed off as real. A joke.
Well, and that was stated out loud, that no one knew for sure, but that it was a rumor that happened.
Yeah. But has it changed anything? Like, has his death changed anything, or are all of these terrible things that you see, are they all just good news for the people of Ukraine? Because I didn't know how to feel about Prigozhin when he started his march up to Moscow, because the entire country of Ukraine was cheering just to watch these two guys fight, right? You weren't cheering for Prigozhin. You just wanted everybody to fucking murder each other. Like, that would have been cool.
Oh yeah. But he had a certain his military organization was the most efficient. Let's put it this way. It was most efficient in Russia, and is probably one of the most efficient in the world. Let's be fair, because they did have a military experience. They've received for years in Africa, in Syria, in many other countries, and they were most. the entire Russian army is very bureaucratic and old Soviet style. So it is impossible to reform ever. And Prigozhin has created a sort of new army. And that was it was a powerful. It was the only army that actually had some success with the air offensive within the past year in Bakhmut. That was Prigozhin's Wagner. Now Wagner is completely like the entire brand is swiped away.
There's no signs of it, Alex. Like
no
it's
signs.
been completely eliminated. There was nobody that stepped in to take over his.
No, they
his
killed
role.
that guy too.
They killed that guy too.
Utkin, yeah.
He was the head of the like Wagner, like the military guy. Prigozhin was like the manager and the financial director.
Yeah, Utkin was the field marshal. Apparently,
by the way, he was a very open Nazist.
Yeah,
and a
that
Nazi
was the guy with the tattoos, like the Nazi tattoos all over himself. Yeah.
Why Wagner? Because Utkin liked Hitler a lot, and he listened to Wagner. Wagner is the favorite composer of Hitler, and Utkin had this nickname or whatever code name, Wagner. That's how the entire group was called.
And it doesn't exist anymore. It's gone.
No.
Wagner's gone.
Yeah.
So you guys took out Wagner too, just by fucking standing your ground, right?
Yeah.
Real quick,
which is good for Ukraine.
Oh, it's fucking awesome for Ukraine. Yeah. You don't know where these douchebags are anymore. Real quick too, I want to deal with Belarus. Kadyrov, I think is his name. This is the guy with the goatee that likes to beat up gay people, and he got real fat, and apparently he's on life support now. Is that like and he buried his doctor? Like what's happening there? In Belarus, right?
But by the way, he has nothing to do with Belarus. He's in Chechnya, and Chechnya is Caucasus. It's over like where Georgia, Azerbaijan is. It's a little north of that, between Black Sea and Caspian Sea. Quite a little land. Chechnya was the first land that tried to get independence after Soviet Union collapsed in 1993. The Russian Federation, Yeltsin at that point, started a war against Chechnya, and then Chechnya opposition that actually fought for independence was headed by Kadyrov, the father of this one, Kadyrov.
Yeah.
That Kadyrov then changed his mind, and then he decided to cooperate with Yeltsin. And that's how this Kadyrov, his son, came into power, like being in close ties with Putler. So now Kadyrov, within the past 2 weeks, he got lost. He was actually the Ukrainian intelligence announced that Kadyrov was in coma in some hospital in Moscow. And since then, there has been no clear news where he is and what he is doing. There were rumors that he is already dead, not confirmed yet. Maybe he's dead, but they don't announce it yet. So but that's very good news for Ukraine.
No kidding.
Can you explain why that benefits Ukraine? Just I mean, because I don't understand.
He's a massive ally of Putin, right? And Chechnyan fighters were hired as like militia guys to help Putin out, and they stage a lot of the attacks from Chechnya. If I'm not mistaken, Alex, I could be wrong.
Yeah, actually, Prigozhin was the biggest owner of a private army in Russia. Kadyrov is another biggest owner of a private army. It's 140,000 soldiers, private army.
Private armies are the way to go over in Europe, apparently. Like
that's crazy.
Yeah. Like we have armies that get paid by the government over there. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, people like Putin, Prigozhin, Kadyrov, Lukashenko, to some extent, they privatize their armies. They pay these guys. That's why Wagner was so huge. These guys all got paid money that other people didn't, and they went and found like the craziest bastards you could find to go and do the craziest shit that needed to be done. And they paid these people. Whereas, each country still has their own army, but they get paid a pittance. And so these guys had their own armies, like in those Eastern Bloc countries. That is a very, very, and if I'm not mistaken, Prigozhin was talking about that on his way to Moscow, how he's like, I own the army, so I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want, if I'm not mistaken, Alex. Is that correct too?
Well, I can't remember these words, but in fact, Wagner was financed by Prigozhin, but the money that Prigozhin got was from the Russian state budget, believe it or not.
Wow.
So he was another government army called a private army of Prigozhin. But in fact, and then even Putler even acknowledged that. He said that it was fully financed by the Russian government. So
but
it was
enough an arm's length that the atrocities that they're committing around the world, they can sort of keep a bit of a distance, right?
Yeah, like the little green men that amassed the border of Ukraine back, like, several years ago, and you just kind of just took shit, right? Like that was private army stuff. So Putin you're right, had the ability to say, fuck it, it's nothing to do with us. It's not our people. It was their people, financed through this Prigozhin guy. Fascinating time over there, Alex. How are the people of Ukraine feeling? You said you guys got momentum. You feel good. Where's your head at, and where's the mood in Ukraine today after we saw what we saw, which was the bombing of the Black Fleet headquarters? Obviously, there's been a bunch of other news that we've seen, whether it's the Kerch Bridge in Crimea, whether it is the pushback and the fighting in and around Zaporizhia. You've taken a bunch of land back, obviously not the extent that you'd hope, because you want it all back. But what is the mood like in Ukraine today?
Well, I can share what myself and my family and my relatives are thinking about. Well, we got used to the stupid war. Believe it or not, we at some points we are like, we feel like we expected too much from the counteroffensive. You mentioned that spring counteroffensive. It's already fall. Yeah. It's still there. So we expected more. I expected so much, because I was watching the news and I was like, whoa, where are those successes? And there were very few ones. But with the more news and the general information space is now about the fact that we got to be persistent and not to wait too much within the closest time. So we do hope that by the end of next year, we will completely free our land. We will restore independence. We will be already very close to EU exception and on the way to NATO. So that this is the general mood.
No, what's your mood?
And waiting for you guys to come.
yeah. The second this thing's over, we're gonna fly in on like WOW Airlines. We're gonna get like a $300 ticket. We're gonna fly over there, and we're gonna get just plastered with you and your family and your friends, and we're gonna stay on your couch, and you're gonna wake up. Locke will be in his underwear. You're gonna go fucking put some pants on, dude. Seriously, you're a guest in my home.
I'm bringing a change of underwear, a change of socks, and a toothbrush. And we'll be there for a week.
Yeah. We can't wait to see you. Listen, as always, we say this every time we finish doing a show with you. We're super grateful to know you, and watching some of the things that are going on in Ukraine today. Every time I see something on television, every time I see a video of you guys bombing the fuck out of Russia somewhere, I always think of you. I always think of Artie. I always think of your lovely wife. And I always think of the strength that we get from you, from talking to you. And it gives my life a little more perspective. So, dude, just awesome to see you today and to catch up and to get the news from Ukraine, from someone in Ukraine who tells the truth about what's going on in Ukraine. And as always, specifically seeing your president over here getting together with our prime minister. And let's leave Lachlan's hatred for the guy on the right out. I couldn't be more proud of relations between your country and my country. I couldn't be more grateful that we're an ally of Ukraine. And there is absolutely no room for movement in what I know is going on there, which is you're standing up for the genocide of your own people. This is not a war. This is not a special military operation. This is Russia and the barbaric nature of that country and those people coming for you. And you guys haven't, like, those 3 days are now almost 2 years. So, Slava Ukraine, as Lachlan so aptly puts it on his shirt. I've got Schadenfreude season. The meaning of Schadenfreude is when bad things happen to bad people, and I enjoy it. So I'm enjoying all the visuals that I'm seeing that are coming out, which are really lifting the spirits of the people of Ukraine. And Alex, we love you, brother. We're so happy to have you on the show today.
Oh, thank you. You lifted
you,
my
Alex.
spirits so much, and I always feel so good after talking to you guys. And
Even if Lachlan's here?
of course, especially with Lachlan.
All right. All right. Well, you stay safe, and let's keep in touch. Thank you so much for the update, brother. We'll talk with you soon.
All the best,
Thank
Alex.
you. Yeah. Bye-bye.
All right. Slava Ukraini, my friend. Slava Ukraini.
You know what
What a guy.
By the way, follow him at Dayrabekove. His last name, Dayrabekov on Twitter. He does a pretty decent job of posting almost daily about his experience. And that's the thing that I find interesting about our communication with Alex in Ukraine is that this isn't a news source. This isn't, it's just a guy trying to live his life and support his country the best way he possibly can. So so give him a follow. We should get as many people on that Twitter account as possible so that he has more and more reach.
Facebook,
and I love his commitment. One more thing.
Yeah.
I love his commitment to Putler. Like, he will never say that man's name properly. And I always forget about it, but he started doing it like 2 years ago when we started having him on. Started calling him Putler,
which is Putin and Hitler mashed into one word, right? Yeah.
And he never misses an opportunity to throw that out there into the world. I love it. I love that. That subtle little
fuck you.
To Putin is awesome. And it's just symbolic on so many levels. I love it.
I do too.
Love that.
There is no greater word for him. There's no better name for Vladimir Putin than Putin. No. Like, none.
No, it's awesome.
None. Zero. Yeah. And to see that man and know what he's been through, know how many homes he's had to live in over the past 2 years, which we have followed him with, right? We've been to his home in Irpin. We've been to the place that he rented near Lviv. We've gone with him to the center of Ukraine in a town that he couldn't tell anybody where he was at. We've gone back to Kyiv. We've gone back to Irpin with him. He is clearly not in the same house today. I think in a year and a half, dude, like a year and a half, we followed that guy into like 6 or 7 different homes because he's dodging missiles.
Well, we didn't get into it today, but he is also doing very important work for the government of Ukraine and the
International Criminal Courts. Yeah, the entire time he's dodging this shit, right? He's feeding people in subway stations who haven't been out of the subway station because they're petrified for 2 years. He's delivering cookies and milk and vegetables to people. He and his wife do that on a daily basis. And when he's not doing that, he's working. And when he's not doing that, as you pointed out, Alex is documenting horrific war crimes visited on men, women, and children over the past year and a half by Russian people and Russian soldiers and Putler's army. And so, and that takes a toll. So when you see that guy's smiling face on the screen, you have no idea what's behind that smile. And then you go, fuck, really? I'm miserable because I, lost $500, or I'm miserable because my beer's cold, or I'm miserable because I got to fold laundry. No offense. That was a great example. And you put it all in perspective, but you know what I mean? Like, it's perspective that we need, I think.
Well, and again, I think, and again, this isn't about me, but whenever you task me with we're going on with Alex, I always have a little self-talk before the podcast. I'm like, let's keep it light. I want to put a smile on this man's face, because I think if there's anything we can give him is a little bit of levity, for 30 minutes on a Friday, so that he can, escape what he's dealing with on a daily basis. And I think we do that. And I appreciate the fact that you've maintained contact with him. You have a like, we can all talk to him on Twitter, but Dean has a more direct line to Alex, and so I've always appreciated the fact that we've maintained that relationship, and
We
and
talk
kept
all the
bringing
time.
him back.
We text all
Yeah,
the
that's
time.
awesome. Good
And,
for you, Dean.
And well, he texts me. I mean, I'm terrible at keeping in touch with people. And over the past
you
year,
are.
I've realized that,
Yeah.
hey, if this guy, and it's actually changed my life in some ways. Like if this guy can send me a text in the middle of the day while in the middle of a fucking war, I should probably be able to answer that text from my couch while I'm typing with a hot coffee in my hand.
Well, and I think as well, I mean, as much as I do joke about, having to run downstairs for a cold beer, I'm trying to find a way to put a smile on his face. And I think we are doing something for him. I think he is getting something from his involvement in our podcast. So,
well, you know what? That's the goal, right? How do you affect people? I mean, there's a reason why we do this. And we don't do this podcast because we're here to be super famous and here to be the next coming of anything other than what we do and what we are. And what we are is sympathetic to individuals who are under attack. We're sympathetic to victims of war. We're sympathetic to people who are marginalized and who are being bombed on a daily basis. These are human beings who didn't ask for this, right? And so that is where my head and heart are at. I know that yours is there as well. It's just awesome to catch up with him. I was dying to ask him if he would eat this slice of pizza, though, but I couldn't find a place where it fit.
What the hell is that?
Have you seen this? I wanted to ask him if he would eat a chicken and waffle
pizza.
That
is waffles.
Yeah. Chicken and waffle pizza. And I'm like, I thought, he's probably busy looking for biscuits. You probably shouldn't ask him about a chicken and waffle pizza, but I would eat this. I wanted to ask him if I could bring some.
That doesn't surprise me that you would eat this. You have a palate of a 10-year-old.
I know, but would you not eat a chicken and waffle pizza?
I would need to. I'm one of those guys where, hey, if it's new and it's kind of weird, and you know what, I might not add it to my daily routine, but I'll give it a go. That doesn't look bad. I'm not a big sweet and savory guy. I kind of like to keep those worlds separate.
Do you?
Yeah, like I guess maybe there's times when it works, like salted caramel, right, in an ice cream cone. Like I'll jump into that pool every day. But mostly I'm like, I don't like I know guys they'll have bacon and eggs.
Yeah,
and they will take the bacon and sop up the syrup from the pancakes.
There might not be anything better than bacon and syrup.
Really? See, that's not going to ruin my day, but I'm not a huge fan of that.
Oh my God. Sweet and savory. Dude, I know a lot of people like you, and I used to be like you too until someone introduced me to a bacon and peanut butter sandwich. And I'm like, what are you doing?
I would do that.
Well, I did.
We lost your mic there, Dean, for a second.
And I fucking love it. And so,
did you put syrup on the bacon and peanut butter sandwich?
No, it was just bacon and peanut butter. I didn't put anything on it. I just ate it. And then I thought, why are you such a judgmental food dick, Dean? Just judgmental food asshole. Couldn't believe it.
Were you a picky eater when you were a kid?
Yes.
Okay. See, I wasn't. I grew up poor. You didn't get to be picky.
Are we going to go through the litany of terrible things that happened to you growing up poor?
No, we don't need to go down that train. But I remember I would get people would make fun of me for my lunches, right? Because I did not have Lunchables. I didn't have anything processed. I had a big chunk of bread with whatever was in the damn fridge in it. And that was my lunch. Yeah. And I'm actually thankful for it because
You're not a picky eater as you get older. Yeah, I'm an asshole eater. I'm one of those eaters. I don't know about you, but I'm one of those eaters that when someone brings me a steak, I inspect it, I smell it, I cut pieces off of it before I actually attack it.
Oh, really?
I can't have gristle. Yeah. Oh, dude, I am.
Oh, dude, I'm eating all of that.
Eater. No, fuck you. I'm not eating any of that.
That's
Same thing
good
with
for
chicken.
you, man.
I'm going to go through the chicken. I'm going to take the vein out. Shrimp. You know, you ever watch someone eat one of those before they deturred them? I can't do it. There is no way I can eat a shrimp unless you take the shit ring out. Yeah, there's absolutely no way.
I'll eat a shit ring. No problem.
Speaking of what you'd eat, here's a question. or do you eat a chocolate chip hamburger?
Let me see it. You got
All
a
right,
picture?
here it is. There's a video of it, actually. I got to turn it down. You got to watch it. This actually looks terrible, but I think it also looks delicious. Like, I'm so confused when I see this. See? They warm up a little burger, and then they get a big bun, and they fucking, it's just a cookie, and then the top is just another cookie.
No, I'm in.
Would you eat that?
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah. I would eat that too. Would you eat that? See, that guy looks like he's enjoying it, and it doesn't look terrible. Chocolate chip cookie. That's the bun.
I needed to see
cookie, meat in the middle. Looks great, doesn't it?
The thing is, too, right? The thing that we're all sort of missing here in this conversation is he's putting fat guy juice on that grill, right? Like he's frying up butter. That chocolate chip has been fried up with a good dose of fat on the one side. Oh, yeah. And then there's cheese. You're not going wrong with cheese.
No.
Right? That's a strong move. I'd eat that. I'd eat the shit out of that.
You know what I love about it? It's dessert and it's dinner and it's in one fucking sandwich, right?
You're saving time, really.
You don't need dessert. You are. It's a great time saver and it's fucking delicious. Anyway,
dude, I had a meal last night that was unbelievable. My boss,
food. I'm gonna start a whole channel about food. I think now I'm a foodie.
My wife's boss had us over for dinner, so he had like all his managers over, and he's a big time hunter, and he's into barbecue, and he brought out some tenderloins and cooked those up on the barbecue, but he brought out a prime rib too, like a big huge prime rib, and then spent the day smoking it. And you know what? Listen, there's a lot of guys out there that are getting into the barbecue thing. It's kind of a bit trendy. And listen, there's no bad barbecue. Well,
that's not true.
I could ruin a barbecue. I'm not very good at it because I don't have the attention span. But
barbecue is hold it. Barbecue is one of those things. You said it's a fad. Barbecue has always been a fad in my life. Like if you said to me, you need to cook, like Dean, you have to cook, and you have to cook with all your best tools. It's always a barbecue. Fuck that. Yeah. I can't do anything on a stove. I can't do anything on in an oven. Well, I can do some things, but if you light up a barbecue, it's almost like I become Jamie Oliver. It's almost like I turn into Guy Fieri. I can do anything on a barbecue. Chicken wings. I can cook vegetables. I can cook fucking anything on a barbecue. I don't know what it is. Is it the caveman in us? Is that what it is?
Maybe.
Like if you're a dude and you don't know how to barbecue, I don't trust you, and I won't let you make my food. Like if you're like, I'm not good at barbecue, and you're a guy,
can do it. I'm not good at it.
You're a terrible man. Terrible.
The other thing about it now is the advent of the smokers and the fact that these things are now sort of.
Yeah, but there's two schools of thought with the smokers. Like, you know, you have some guys who are like, they count themselves as like some kind of smoking insider, right?
Yeah.
Like these guys that are like, oh no, you can't barbecue, you got to smoke. Oh, no. How'd you cook that? No, you got to smoke it for 48 hours. And you're like, dude, it takes me 8 minutes on both sides on a barbecue. You think I'm going to fucking smoke that? It's like, oh, there's no other way to do it. Like smokers are not barbecuers. Some people are, but smokers are the elite version of barbecuing.
Okay, so that's the point that I wanted to make was that I've sort of got people in my life, friends and whatnot, that are doing this and they're getting more and more involved in it. And I have noticed that it is an increased interest in men. Maybe it's just the age that I am or whatever, but it seems like there's a lot of guys that are really getting into it. They're getting into I'm doing a brisket this weekend, blah, blah, blah. Right. Yeah. And so I haven't had a lot of it, but I've had enough of it to sort of know what I like. And this smoked prime rib last night was unbelievable. And again, I don't know what he did, and he does it a little bit differently than he didn't have any pellets going or anything like that. He just had some other system going.
Yeah, but was he all like fucking elitist about the smoking?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Maybe he's one of those combo guys that can do both, and he's not.
And then he was on the barbecue with the tenderloins, and I ate a disgusting amount of meat last night. It was so good.
You get the meat sweats after?
No. I don't know whether I get meat sweats anymore because I'm an alcoholic and I get a lot of booze sweats.
So it's hard to differentiate between.
So I don't know whether it was the booze coming out of me or the meat.
How's your bung piece today? Did you poop yet?
I've had a couple. Yeah.
Okay, so you're okay. Things are still moving. You're all right.
It wasn't. Whenever I have a big barbecue night,
Yeah.
I don't know why. I always have this expectation the next day
That you're going to have a big movement.
It doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't. It bungs you up. That's the whole idea.
Yeah,
all the sugar in the meat.
it's just there's less form to it.
I know, dude. You don't have to get into it, like I said.
Less of it.
I know.
Yeah.
It's not good for you. Thank you. I get it. I know how the digestive system works. Got my colonoscopy booked for the 13th, by the way.
Oh, are they? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Are they? They're going in.
Yeah. I'm going full camera. No freezing. I requested no freezing.
No, you did.
I did.
You need to go out for that. What are you doing? No freezing. Stop it. You need to go. If you're honestly doing that, I'm coming to knock you out. I don't want you to go through that.
Well, I turned 50 and I got to the doctor's office and I'm like, so it's probably
I gotta get one of these soon.
Book my physical. And he's like, yeah. You're 50, right? I go, yeah. Colonoscopy? He's like, yeah, got it. No problem. I said, okay. He's like, make your appointment. You go for a consult. Go for the consult at an internist. And I'm like, how you doing? Guy's like, not bad. How you doing? And this guy scopes all of my friends' assholes too. So I'm like, he's probably pretty good at it. And he's like, so it's your first colonoscopy? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes through the history. How are your bowel movements? How's this? How's that? I'm like, perfect. Excellent. Great. Cables. I believe I said the word cable 4 times. And I'm not lying. Like, I'm not sitting there like, because he's going to be able to tell if there's anything wrong with me when he shoves that thing up my ass.
So, yeah, you don't lie to your poo doctor.
No, because he's going to see it, right? You can't. So we're going through a medical history, and he's like, yeah. Okay, great. And he's like, okay, so here's what's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. You come in, we're going to give you this thing, and then you're going to lay on your side. You put your feet up to your knees up to your chest, and it's in there. And I'm like, he goes, you okay with that? I go, yeah, just a quick request. It's like, yeah. I go, can we forego the freezing? And he's like, oh, you mean the anesthetic? And I'm like, whatever. He's like, if you want.
No, you're not doing this.
He goes, I recommend against it. And I go, highly recommend against it? He's like, yeah. And so I phoned a buddy of mine who had a colonoscopy and has had 2 of them, one frozen, one not. And he told me about it. And I call him back and I'm like, okay, colonoscopy, it's on the 13th. Getting the camera up my hoop. And he's like, get the freezing. Take the medication. Take the medication. I go, why? He goes, bro, I have PTSD from it. He's like, I went back for the second one. He's like, it hurts so much. And it was so invasive. And it felt like there was someone rooting around in my abdomen. He's like, you can't have that. You cannot do it because it's a feeling you'll never have again. And it's not one you want to have. And it comes with a significant amount of discomfort. I go, pain or discomfort? He's like, pain. It hurts. And I'm like, all right, I'll take all the fucking drugs they have then.
Yeah, take them all.
Take them all. Knock me out for 3 days. I don't care. Just have your way with me.
What are you worried? Are you worried about the drugs because you're sober? No. You don't want that in your system or no? No, you're fine?
No. Yeah. It's no issue at all. It was just kind of a fun joke. And I thought, well, if I can drive home and don't have to sit around for like 3 hours just to kind of wake up or whatever the situation is, then I'll be fine. And he's like, nah, I highly recommend you get
I'm probably going to have to go in for mine soon. My
had one? How old are you?
53.
You haven't had one?
No, my doctor, I've been doing an annual checkup with my doctor for years. And
poop test too? You poop in a cup?
Yeah, I give them I told everybody about this. I do it differently.
We don't need to go in. No, you don't put it on a plate.
I shit on a paper plate bag. And then I wrap it. I put it in a Safeway bag and I take it in.
No, you don't.
They always say that it's too much.
Anyway, it's too much. We don't need all of it. We don't need the whole thing. We just need a little smidge of root. That's all we need. Just a smidge of root. What are you
doing in there, honey? Oh, I'm shitting on one of our paper plates. And then you fold it. It's the best system.
the best system.
Take seconds.
Anyway,
Chopper had an interesting question. Not that we
what's
need to not that we need to extend this conversation any more than we already have, but he was asking about shaving. Are you planning on shave? Are you already shave your hoop?
No, I don't. I'm hairless, dude. Look at my arms.
Oh,
I got
yeah,
no hair. Yeah. So I don't have any.
You don't have
I don't
hair
have
on your
any-
asshole?
No, I don't have any hair
I
back
bet
there.
you do. Let's have a look.
No. I don't know if you have to shave. Is that one of the things? It's like getting a vasectomy. Is that part of the? He didn't say anything about shaving my.
Oh,
asshole.
I'm
Not a word.
covered in hair down there. I like.
So there's some like bushwhacking he'll have to do before he goes into your.
Yeah,
bum
there's
piece.
he's gonna need to.
Yeah.
He's gonna need to Indiana Jones it.
Smitty said he wants me to shave a sweet triangle in my asshole. A sweet.
One time I had to go to the doctor and there was a conversation about he's like it's going to be a complete physical. And I'm like, "Okay." So I said to the wife, I said I'm going to shave and before I go.
I don't even know
she's,
how you do that. Like if someone's like, "Hey, I shaved my butthole." I'd be like,
"No, I
"How?"
didn't shave
Not
that,
why,
but I just
get it. How?
Okay, but hold on. No, I don't do a lot of grooming in my crotch area to begin with. So
Shave an
once
arrow.
in a blue moon, I call it, I say to the wife, I'm going to go de-Wookie. And I literally put a towel down in the bathroom and I take the shaver out and I put a guard on it and I'm like, and I knock down everything. I knock down my chest hair on my legs, my balls, like everything.
Thank you. Yeah, I know where you grow hair. I'm familiar.
But I always keep the razor on.
Yeah.
And I keep a guard on it so that it's not, because I don't like to be down to the.
You don't want to cut your wiener off, and you don't want to be down to the wood. You just want it nice and matte. Like you want short hair, right? You don't want to be bald. You don't want to go that way.
I'm not that guy. Like I'm not. Anyway, and I've been married a long time. She's okay with the hair, but I said I'll de-Wookie, right?
Do you have shoulder hair too? Do you have shoulder hair?
Dude, I got every.
Tank tops.
I got hair.
Do you wear tank tops with shoulder hair?
My
That's
wife
the
just
sweetest look of
shaved.
all time.
She just shaved my back and my shoulders.
Loves you, dude.
Yeah,
if she's doing that.
And she knocked out. She's my hairdresser.
Oh, very
so
good.
anyway, I go into the bathroom and
Yes.
I put the guard on and I start shaving and I'm not really paying attention. And then I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh shit. I put the 1 mil on.
Oh yeah, the one. You need the 2 or the 3.
And it was way too close. And I'm not the guy. I don't have the body type for a really close shave in the nether regions. It's not a good look for old Locke. But then I was like, damn it. I've gone too far. Hold on, let me finish.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me finish. I've gone too far. I got to keep going. So I knock it right down and then I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, oh my God, I look like an asshole. And then I panic because I have a moment where I realize that the doctor is going to think I did that for him. This is like last year. I'm like, he's going to think it's weird. Like I look like a hairless cat.
But you know what's weird about it is you got hair everywhere else, but just around your junk, it's like super bald. Like it looks like you really cut your junk. Yeah, exactly. You know,
you need hair around it.
You know when you're no, you don't. You know when you're it's just like you have hair around everything else, but you got where you should have all the hair, you got a bald patch. It's just fucking weird. Like when you're flying over the fucking Rockies and you see where they clear cut one patch on a mountain. That's exactly what that is.
That's what Locke looked like on the way to the doctor. And then I was worried. My doctor is kind of like he's a very composed guy. So I try to make jokes and it just doesn't land well.
Yeah, I know my whole joke.
He's a
with
great
the
doctor.
proctologist where I'm like, hey, no freezing. It was like, I've heard that like 1,000 times. So, you want to make a stupid joke. You might want to do it in the other room. And I'm like, okay, sorry. I'm an asshole. Total asshole. I get it. Anyway, men's health, very important. Get your
I go every year.
Screened. Yeah, you should. Folks, it's super important. I don't know what's going on inside me.
When I hit 40,
like,
I
you
started
figure
going.
it out. We want to see what's in your asshole. And I'm like, have a look. If you find cancer, some keys, maybe
I
a
get-
wristwatch, let me know.
I get the blood test every year because it's
In your
important.
family.
I got
Yeah.
family, and my wife lost her dad. He was a young man. He died at 47. So
Check it out. Gentlemen, stay healthy. Make sure you make those appointments. We can laugh all I like. The reason why I brought that up is because it's very important for all of us men to be concerned about nether region health, whether it's your
and what
nuts,
we have to
your
do,
wang, or your butthole.
what
Okay?
we have to do, Dean,
Yeah.
to maintain health is like significantly less involved than what women have to go through.
I talked about that the other night with my significant other. And I said to her, you guys got hosed. Because I was telling her about the colonoscopy. And
They got
she's
the
like,
short end of the stick on that.
between like being in absolute pain once a month for 7 to 10 days, all the stuff that goes with that, childbirth, pap smears, they got other things to check out. We only have the one thing. They got several.
Stirrups.
So I will never complain about having to go get a colonoscopy because women, you're the real heroes when it comes to
Have you
this
seen
kind of
that
stuff.
thing that they put in their unit
Speculum?
to open them up?
Yeah, I'm hoping to get that in my
Jesus.
butthole. I want to
If
have
they
a good
bring-
look in there.
If they bring that out, you might be at the wrong doctor.
I did a radio bit where I tried to book a pap smear once. Didn't go well. It's probably fairly misogynist too. So I won't be doing
That is a
again.
very misogynist bit, but you know what? Listen, you've grown.
It's fucking hilarious. A good 7 minutes of me just being a total asshole. You would have loved it. Anyway, have a great day. Lachlan Cross, 957 Cruise FM in Edmonton. That's where you can find him at Lachlan Cross on Twitter. Yeah. What?
Have a good weekend.
Have a great weekend. It's Friday, everybody. Enjoy
Are we
it.
going to go Monday? Are we going Monday?
We
big
are
guy, or
back
what?
on
Okay.
Monday morning. Monday at 4 o'clock we'll be here. As always, brought to you by our friends at Gitch. Gitch, luxury branded underwear, boxer briefs, pouch in the front, by Lachlan, at Lachlan Cross on Twitter is where you can find them. The best underwear you'll ever buy. Boxer briefs, pouch in the front, can't miss. These things are beautiful. Super soft, made for every level of performance. The only place you can get them is edsfineimports.com. He'll give you a free one. Give you a free pair if you use promo code GETS3 when you buy 3 or more. And listen, I'm wearing them. They're the only underwear I wear. Everybody I send them to ends up ordering these underwear because underwear are a very personal thing, you know? You're like, oh, I only wear these kinds of shirts. Like I only wear black T-shirts. It's just my thing. I might wear a nice shirt, but I'm really particular about a few things, including underwear. And I'm all about comfort and all about ease of use. And Gitch you can use in any way, shape, or form. You can work out in them. They're breathable, stretchable, unbelievable fabric. They're moisture wicking. You will love them. And they're luxury branded underwear, men. Made for Canadians by Canadians here in Canada. Go to edsfineimports.com. Order them online. Gitch3 is your promo code. You are welcome. And of course, brought to you by friends at Can Torque, makers of the best torque wrenches on the planet for every available heavy machinery industry, from nuclear to railroads to the steel industry. It doesn't matter. Forestry, torque wrenches, bolts. Sometimes they come in these, like they're massive and there might not be a solution for it. And it's, this bolt that you need a loosening and fastening solution for is in this crazy application. You can't get a torque wrench in there to do any maintenance, et cetera, when you're building. These guys make them for industries around the world. They're in Canada. Wonderful people. Colin's in the fucking chat right now. There he is. Don't die of embarrassment. He says, don't worry. I won't die of embarrassment getting my colonoscopy, Colin. But that is a good man. That is a man that makes the best torque wrenches in the world for any available heavy machinery industry. Looseners and fasteners. He makes them, designs them, maintains them, cleans them. Doesn't matter what you have. He'll take care of that loosening and fastening solution today. Colin, cantorque.com. Go and visit him this afternoon. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for having us today. Really appreciate it. We'll be back on Monday. Thanks to Lachlan Cross for being part of this program as well. Thanks to my very good friend, Alex Dayrabekove, for updating us live from Ukraine. Be grateful for the life you have today. It's a lot easier than the people of Ukraine, what they're going through. So remember that. Have a great weekend. See you on Monday. Bye.